Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Conrad Bernal,
And my name is Mimi Fan.
and we would like to welcome you to the SCU News Network. Tonight we turn our attention toward Hong Kong, a special administrative region of China. Once a British colony, now a financial powerhouse with a GDP of $263 billion. The region has been making waves for the last several decades. Please join us as we explore the interesting and sometimes troubled history of one of the world's greatest financial leaders. Together we'll see the good, the great, the misery, and the struggle of this unique area of China. Discover this story, discover Hong Kong, coming up after the break. Breaking news. This just in, the chief executive of Hong Kong signed a bill dismantling the power of a very important trade agreement with China. Mr. Chun Ying hastily signed this bill earlier today after receiving continuous pressure from several domestic circuit producers over the past few weeks. Here's Mimi on the story.
Good afternoon. My name is Mimi Pham, and I'm here with Professor Konkin from DeVry University at Santa Clara University. How are you doing today?
Hi, good.
So we're going to talk today about the CEPA trade agreement between Hong Kong and China. So I have a few questions for him in regards to that. Hi, Professor Konkin. Thank you for meeting with me today. So can you explain to us why signing the bill was so important?
Sure. By signing this bill, Hong Kong's destroying over pretty much a decade's worth of economic progress brought on by the CEPA. You see, the objective of the CEPA is to increase trade cooperation between the mainland and Hong Kong by opening up the two countries' markets to each other. Under this agreement, China and Hong Kong decided to reduce tariffs and non-tariff barriers and promote trade and investment facilitation. In fact, there's currently a zero-tariff trade policy going on from Hong Kong goods being imported into China.
So will dismantling the free trade agreement have negative effects on China?
Hong Kong will suffer most of the negative effects if it continues breaking the ties between the two countries. Domestic producers may benefit, but consumers as a whole will definitely lose. As they're forced to pay more for products the mainland can produce more efficiently.
If Hong Kong refuses to trade with China, do you think that China will retaliate into domestically trading?
I think China knows that the CEPA is beneficial for both itself and Hong Kong, so they'll probably try to resolve this problem together through a dispute settlement.
Very interesting. Thank you, Professor, for your time.
It was a pleasure.
You heard it here, Conrad. The bill Mr. Chung Yi signed to help protect his country is actually hurting. It is truly ironic. Hopefully Hong Kong will understand just how important free trade is to the economy. Back to you, Conrad.
Okay. Welcome back. As some of our viewers may know, modern Hong Kong has seen many changes since the financial crisis that rocked it in 2007. That year saw the suffering of the lower class as it was torn apart by chronic unemployment. Many were calling for government intervention, others were simply trying to get by. The following year saw a test of loyalty. There was a global discussion underway. Should Hong Kong repeg its dollar to the Chinese renminbi, or should it stay true to the US dollar as it had been? Some praised the idea, hoping to see investment along the lines of the euro. Others stressed keeping Hong Kong's distance from China. It is now 2014, and it is clear that Hong Kong has decided to stay with the US dollar, the debate long gone in the past. Live from Hong Kong is Chris Ratana, our financial reporter, to give us a rundown of Hong Kong's current capital flows.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey. No problem.
So can you give us a general run-through of how Hong Kong's doing right now?
Sure. Over the past years, there has been a growing concern of the credit expansion in Hong Kong, particularly to the growth in mainland-related lending. Hong Kong and mainland lending has grown considerably over the past years. In 2007, only 5% of the total banking assets were loaned out to the mainland. Currently, nearly 20% of those assets are in the mainland. This has Hong Kong residents concerned over the bad loans in the mainland, especially with the slowing of the Chinese economy. Foreign currency lending by Hong Kong banks rose to a record of 2.9 trillion Hong Kong dollars, or 368 billion in US dollars. Most of that went towards the mainland according to the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, or HKMA. HKMA's Financial Stability Report stated that banks' rising exposure is a key risk to watch for, as total mainland-related exposure amounts to 165% of Hong Kong's GDP.
Shouldn't Hong Kong be worried about the foreign currency lending then?
Well, according to the HKMA, this should not be a major concern as of yet. Why? According to Deputy Chief Executive Arthur Yuan, Hong Kong is regional hub for financial intermediation and continues to be so, especially as Hong Kong is further integrated with the mainland. Corporations use Hong Kong to obtain funds to support their business ventures in the mainland or expand their industries. Therefore, this is natural as the mainland's economy continues to grow. So will lending between the mainland and Hong Kong.
I see. But what about the foreign banks that have firms situated in both Hong Kong and the mainland?
Well, UN also notes that most loans take place between foreign banks that have their firms situated in Hong Kong and the mainland. He also notes that the lending between the mainland is that of corporate lending as opposed to credit risk lending involving homogeneous products. Rather, mainland-related lending is heterogeneous. UN claims that the supervisory should instead focus on the robustness of banks' risk management systems, particularly that of credit and liquidity risk.
Shouldn't Hong Kong citizens and the government be worried about the potential risks that can come out from this?
Well, while this may be a main concern among many Hong Kong citizens, economists are not as worried because the Hong Kong government is proactive in protecting its financial sectors. Some of these safeguards include regular on-site examinations on banks' credits underwriting process, which means banks with high loans are subject to a stable funding requirement, which is a requirement by the government to these companies to maintain longer-term stable funds to support their lending, and also regular supervisory stress tests to assess a bank's resilience to credit shock.
Okay, that's good to hear. So there is no glaring danger that Hong Kong corporations should worry about this if they ask for loans from the banks?
Well, according to economist John Zhu, he stated that the real danger would come to Hong Kong should the Chinese real estate market collapse. But despite this danger, Zhu claims that the risk is contained for now.
Thanks for joining us, Chris. And Chris will keep us updated on that report next week at 9. Up next, 4 people brutally murdered by self-aware robotic toys, leaving the town wondering, who's next? More on this story at 11.